I'm here at Caberfae. I'm Anton of Hill or Stream. This is Tim Meyer, the Mountain Operations Manager of Caberfae. And we've got some news for the new coming year here. And I'm going to get out of the picture and let him answer my questions. Well, first of all, last year was a pretty good year, right?
Yeah, it was a great year. Yeah, great snow. As I recall, we had some early December snowmaking. We got open, had a little bit of a warm up, and then it got cold again by the middle of the month. We had great snow going into the holidays, a little warm up right after Christmas, and then we snapped back into winter right around the new year, and we got tons of snow. And it stayed cold all the way into March, so it was great. It was a great year.
Tell me if it's my imagination or not. I didn't really see any empty days. Usually towards the end of the year, I'm like, they're really going to close. They got all this snow, they're going to close. But there's usually not many people there at that time of year, at the end of the year. But this year, it seemed like the crowds kept up all year long. It seemed like till the very last day, there was pretty much a full parking lot.
Yeah, it was a pretty good year. It was pretty solid, and then it did taper down at the very end, but it stayed busy. It stayed busy 7 days a week until mid-March, and then the midweek traffic really tailed off, and then the weekends were not. The weekends were still pretty good all the way to the end of March, but it does slow down a little bit.
I didn't really have any days where a lot of times I come here in the late season and I fantasize that I'm at my own private ski club because I ski right on the lift, and all that. But it really was not that many days like that this year.
No, I should say crowded. It was busy, but what I really noticed is it's really picking up midweek. We're seeing a lot more Monday through Friday business, so that's really good because there's room on Monday through Friday, so that was a good thing.
All right, so what are we looking at here, Tim?
So this is we're standing almost right at the location of the bottom terminal of a new beginner lift that we've begun. It's actually going to be a 2-year construction process. 3 years if you include this year. So we did an excavation here to bring our grade down a little bit for the bottom terminal, and we're still going to get some final grading done uphill of me. You can see it's kind of a cliff there, and that needs to be obviously softened and graded down, and then we'll get the lift line cut, or at least a nice line of sight cut, and we'll get the survey work done all yet this fall, and then this winter the lift manufacturer will do some of the engineering so we can do concrete. We'll do concrete, power, and snowmaking next summer, and steel in 27, and it will open for 27, 28. So this will be a brand new expansion beginner area. So the idea is cool. when you graduate off of the carpet or the conveyor, you'll be able to ski down this newly cut slope here that's pretty easy.
Wow.
And get onto this new triple chairlift, which will go straight up behind me, up onto the ridge up there. Obviously there'll be some more clearing that has to happen before we're ready to ski it, but that there'll be 3 runs off of that new lift that are easier than what we have on East Peak and North Peak, and it will really be a nice next step that we're missing right now, and so that's going to be, that's going to really bridge that gap. So we're really excited about this project, but there's a lot of work to do because there's no utilities, there's no infrastructure there, so that's why the construction process is going to take a couple of years to complete. But when it's completed, it's really going to be good.
So this is just going to go to the top of this little nub above here?
This where you see the orange on the trees up there, that's that ridge there. Those treetops are on a ridge, and they'll be right up there.
So it's going to be a short lift, just this little nub.
Yes, it'll be a shorter lift, and that's usually what that novice skier, their first lift ride, they don't want to go on a really long lift ride. They want to go on a relatively short.
Yeah, that's why
shorter.
I was wondering, if you should have even pulled out that old lift, because the new lift is a little bit intimidating to some of the beginners. So this will be a big step in a shorter, more friendly lift.
Yeah, yes. We just didn't have room to keep that older lift and have the new lift. That was the reason. There wouldn't have been enough room for the skiers with the two lifts packed in there, so we had to take one out.
It seems like they would have fit, but then with the crowd, there's no way, because even now you got big crowds forming between here and...
Yeah, the terminals are in the same spot. It wouldn't have worked at all. That had to come out. Plus, we were updating old equipment, and we wanted to go to the newer. So we don't really want to keep those old lifts running forever.
So you're not going to do any reuse on those lifts?
No, there really isn't. They're pretty old. They were built originally in 1967. There's no, all the parts are, nobody makes new parts for them, so it's all used parts. The new stuff is much easier to maintain, way more modern, modern drives, modern controls. The seats are more comfortable. It just that lift really just didn't have a lot of usefulness. To rebuild that and bring it up to today's codes, you'd spend 2/3 of the price of a new one, and you'd still have a 60-year-old lift. So,
yeah, that's true.
It kind of makes sense to just upgrade and go to new.
So, are you still trying to sell those lifts?
The chairs, we're selling chairs, yes.
So not the whole lift, though. You're just
we're selling parts. We're selling parts to people that are still running those older chairs. So
okay.
we have different operators will come in from around the state and around the region and buy parts and to keep their lifts running.
I kind of was wondering if you'd put one of those lifts up here, on this little nub, but it's kind of cool you're putting a new lift on it.
Well, this is a lift we plan to run 7 days a week, so we want to, it's going to get some hours, so we want to have a new lift, and it's going to look just like East Peak. So when you're learning, you're going to learn on a lift that's just like two other ones that we have, so it'll be really nice. Now this one will run a little bit slower. It'll have a bigger chair interval, so it'll be easier to get on and off. It'll be a great spot to learn. And then when you master this, then you can go down to East Peak, and that one is going to go a little bit faster and take you a little bit higher, but you'll have the ability to turn left and right and to stop, and you'll have some confidence before you head up there. So we think we think this is going to be really a great thing.
So the Green Peak Pass was only $5. I don't imagine it's going to stay that way if you add a chair to it.
The chair, you won't be able to go up the chairlift for $5. So we have the discounted, I don't know if it's still $5, but we have the discounted conveyor ticket. But when you want to get on a chairlift, you're going to have to buy a full ticket.
Okay. I was wondering if you'd have one just for the Green Mountain area and not...
No, these lifts are pretty expensive to put in and operate. Free doesn't pay the bills. So got to buy a ticket.
So you're saying this is going to take us another 2 years, probably?
Another 2 years, yeah, another 2 summers of construction. But we went ahead and let everybody know what we were doing and what we're planning to do, just because we want people to be able to look forward to that and know that we're recognizing the fact that we have a great beginner area, but the step is too big, and we want people to know we recognize that and we're addressing that, and we're going to do something really awesome to address that. This is going to be a learn to ski complex that's as good as anything in the Midwest and better than most. It's going to be really, really good.
I think it's great because you've got the Brown Beggar place there, that's where a lot of beginners hang out anyway, and families will be here. It's a great idea.
Yeah, we're really excited about this. This is going to be a really neat project.
I was hoping you guys would do something with this nub up here.
Yeah, in last winter when we had all that natural snow, we actually groomed the main trail and hiked up and skied it, and it skis really nice. It's just a nice, easy, mellow pitch, and you could glide all the way down here. And since we lowered the we lowered this terminal, and as we push that down, it'll even ski nicer. That'll even make it even nicer than what it was on the original grade. But on the original grade, it was pretty darn nice. So this is gonna work out really well.
It's gonna be. I can't wait to see it. That's so I hoped you guys would do. I didn't know anybody was planning on it, though. That's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely you need more space for the beginners. This hill gets too crowded, and then everybody's packed together. They really can't function, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we have all this extra space for them. That'd be great.
Yeah, and the other thing too is then you get those lower end skiers off of the East Peak,
Yes.
and it makes it a little bit
Yes.
nicer for the intermediates and the advanced skiers to not have it. So it's just good for everybody. It's a win-win all around.
So, is the backcountry lift still on the docket, or is
It
that
is.
gonna be
Oh
pushed?
yeah, no, it is. And it was going to be the next thing, but you know, this is why I've told you in the past when we've interviewed you that we never have the
Yeah,
master plan is always on the back of a napkin, because there's factors that happen, and you know, you just don't know. You kind of learn as you go, and what we learned was the absence of good novice terrain is a more pressing need than that. Will be really nice. That's going to be phenomenal. But you can still ski, you can still access that off of East Peak and
Yep.
hike out. But so we want to do this first, and we are. But then that will be the next thing. So it's all still happening. It's just in a different order.
Yeah, this is pretty big news. I kind of like to see it. I was kind of wondering what you would do to. I guess you don't really need transportation away from that ground station for the next lift, because the lift itself will be transportation.
Yeah, so that one, you know, will bottom out up in that valley. So to leave, you'd either have to, you know, walk out like you do now, or you ride up that lift and then ski into
Right.
East Peak, and that's what most people will do.
So, tariffs didn't have anything to do with Doppelmayer's prices or anything.
It wasn't substantial, but it is a factor.
Oh.
So there is a tariff bump. It wasn't as bad as I feared it could be, but definitely it does affect it. It does affect the pricing.
What do you have for night skiing at this point? How many days a week are you night skiing?
So we're night skiing Wednesday and Thursday till 8, and Friday and Saturday until 9, and then Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday we ski till 5.
And I know in the old days you guys used to take a break after 5 or 4 or 5, 4:30 or something. You guys used to take a break before you did the night skiing. You don't do that anymore, do you?
Boy, yeah, that would have been before my time. I don't remember that, but that could be.
Okay.
That must have been a long time ago.
So what about lights? Are you going to light any more places than you do now?
Right, not for this year. We're improving lighting though in some places, and then this, at least the front of this, will most likely be lit. Maybe not the first season, but ultimately there'll be 3 runs. We probably won't light all of them. We'll probably just light the main one off the front. But I can foresee wanting this lift to run in the evenings, like when the kids are here, you know, with the school groups, and on Friday and Saturday nights when we're busy. I think
Definitely,
I
yeah.
think this is a lift that's going to get a lot of use. So we'll add that. But the idea, we don't want to light everything, because we want to somewhat simplify the operation at night. So like we don't have we don't do the dark side.
I was going to ask about the dark side.
And that that shrinks the footprint a little bit for night skiing, and it also, you know, the price is lower at night. So having more terrain open in the daytime adds value to that day ticket.
Oh, because you've got a night ticket that's cheaper.
And the price drops. So, you know, we groom at night. You come in the morning, it costs more, but you get the groom slopes and you get everything. And then as the day goes on, you know, it gets cut up a bit, gets skied, and then when the sun sets, there's less terrain, but the price continues to drop. So that it's kind of a good win-win for everybody.
How about more webcams?
We added a webcam at the top of Vista.
Cool.
For this year. Yes. So we'll have 4 webcams.
I was thinking, well, of course I'd like to see the dark side, but you're not going to do that probably. But I was thinking if you put a camera way on top, looking across, you could almost see all the lifts from one camera shot, even your future lift.
Mm-hmm.
Not this down here, but when you finally get the backcountry lift going, if you could put a pole, there is a pole there already by where it's going to be, the camera from that perspective would see all those lifts.
That'd be pretty cool. Got to get an internet connection up there, but yeah, that's the hard part.
Okay, what about any use of the backcountry for like cross-country skiing, mountain biking, anything like that going to ever happen?
I don't think, definitely not mountain biking. The mountain biking, there's not a lot of demand for people that want to pay for mountain biking, and so there's not a lot of incentive to have free mountain biking, right? It's just you're doing a lot of work to not have any revenue, so that doesn't really make business sense. And then the cross country skiing, I don't know. You never say never. I mean, that's a possibility, but we do have the Mackenzie Trail system is adjacent to us this way, and that's already being cared for by the Forest Service. It's being groomed. I mean, it's there. So I don't know if we would have enough demand for more Nordic or not, but that remains to be seen.
A lot of people are telemarking on this hill. Got a pretty good percentage of telemarker. Do you guys don't rent or have lessons for them yet, do you?
We don't have telemarking rental gear or telemarking lessons yet. There's still not enough demand for that yet.
It's getting pretty heavy. There's quite a few. Okay, so the East Peak lift, we have, it does start and stop a lot normally. I know it takes the beginner load, and this will help that quite a bit, getting this load of lift out for beginners. But I noticed at the end of the year when you were running the lift, it wasn't stopping and starting and taking so long to start, restart. You were like being real careful about not stopping all the way when you didn't have to. I'm just wondering how that's going to go, if you've got any strategy for that, if you're going to train your guys to do what you were doing, and also, is the top a bigger problem or the bottom a bigger problem?
The top is the bigger problem that the people have, again, because it's not everybody, it's the people who are riding the lift for the first time. I think it's more intimidation than anything else, but they'll tend to kind of go limp and fall on the ramp, and the problem then you try to get away with the slow, right? You try to bring that line speed down, but they still have to get out of the way. So you bring that line speed down, you get out there, you try to help them move out of the way, but at some point, if your next group's gonna unload, you don't want to have a pile up on the ramp, so you have to stop it, and we do train our operators to. It's always a judgment call, but we train them in the loading area to that you usually can handle things from the wait here line to the load here line with a slow, especially on East Peak because it actually has like a few speeds, and one of them's a crawl practically. So you get it down in that crawl and it's moving, but it's moving slow. But you try to, unless they go down on the ramp, you try to keep it moving even if you have to slow it down. Once you get into the load here area and they're making contact with the carrier, then if it goes bad, you probably have to stop it and get them reset. Because what you don't want to do is get them going up the line and then have a problem. So I've been doing this a long time. So for me, it's real natural, and for somebody else that's newer at it, I think it just takes time. But we just keep working with them. We also try to get people to return, get returning operators, and that will help. But that's how we train them. But the top's harder because they get off, they fall, they'll lose a ski or whatever happens, and then the operator's trying to help as much as he or she can, but he's also got to have this focus on what's coming at him. So it's not as easy as you think, but we certainly try. We don't want to stop the lifts. We want to keep them. We want to keep them going up the hill as much as possible, for sure.
Right. Well, I know you were doing a great job of it.
Thank you.
A little overqualified for the position though. That's about all I got. Anything else you have new or exciting?
No, I mean, we're just super excited about this Green Mountain project, and we're actually rebranding the Skyview as the Green Mountain Lodge. So that changed.
Cool.
So this is like going to be the Green Mountain complex here, and it's just a cool. The lodge is cool. The conveyor's awesome, and this new lift is going to be just fabulous. This is going to be a terrific improvement.
Yeah, I think so too. It'll get the crowd to thin out around the bottom of the East Peak lift, which is a big thing.
Will not interfere with the traffic on Hotdog. So that's another real benefit. It's a small thing, but it's going to make a big difference for the beginners and the traffic flow this winter.
So any regrading or reshaping of any of the runs?
Yeah, so we added some fill down at the bottom of Green Mountain, and it used to kind of fall away to the skiers left. It kind of fell away. And so it would we try to fill it in with snow, but it took a lot of snow and it took a long time to get it good to where it was as good as it needed to be. And with that extra fill in there isn't going to take as much snow to make it really good. And what that's going to allow is you're going to be able to get off the conveyor, and you're going to be able to ski right along right about to where this vegetation line is if you want to, and follow that line down, and then still make it back to the conveyor. You really couldn't do that before, so it made it so everybody was using half the hill, and now everybody can use the whole hill, and that will make a big difference.
And get back to the conveyor easier.
So it's a small fill job. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's really going to make this beginner area work a lot better. So it is kind of cool. It's a cool thing. Sometimes you can do like little things that make a big difference, and it's an example of that.
I'm an advanced skier and boarder, but I learned snowboarding here, and so I really emphasize. So I really can relate to the beginners and their plight and how hard it can really be.
It is hard, and we're learning as we mature as operators that you don't want to make it hard. You want to make it easy. When somebody comes here for the first time, this is a foreign thing. This is your first time. You've never been in a ski area. You've never done this before. So when you come here, we want to make it easy for you to get your ticket, easy for you to get your rental equipment, easy for you to get a lesson, easy for you to get out to the conveyor, easy for you to learn on the conveyor, and then be able to easily come and take the next step to your first chairlift ride.
That's great.
It's easy, well set up, good progression, and then from here you go to there. And so this is really this is the missing piece, and it's really going to complete it. And I couldn't be more thrilled. I'm excited. I know it's 2 years away, but we'll start talking about it now because it's going to be awesome, and we're working on it now. So
I think it's a great idea. I think it'll help the whole hill because manage your beginners, get them out of the way of the East Peak lift, less stoppage of the East Peak lift, hopefully, and happier people over here with more to ski, more to do.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a great thing.
I think so too. So, of course, I'm looking forward to expert runs or harder runs coming in. No new runs this year.
No new runs this year. No. Okay.
And you don't really have a target in years how far we are till the backcountry lift.
With this one going in 27, it's going to be at least a couple years after that. So we're probably pushing 29, 30, something like that. But I don't, like you said, I can never give you numbers because this is cocktail napkin stuff. But that one, the hill will be ready. And so, it'll be ready for a lift. It's just be a matter of, I can't see when we open one in 27, put one in 27, it's going to be at least 2 years. I mean, at a minimum, if not more.
I know you guys would really like to work in your hotel as well. That's going to be after you get all this done.
Yeah, these two projects are the next two big capital projects, and then then there's more. Then there's other stuff on the list. There's hotel. There's possibly there could be more golf. I mean, there's things that could come, but they're behind the skiing because the skiing is our big engine. That's our driver. So we've always said we're not gonna get away from fixing the skiing until we get that right. And we're close, but we've got a few big things to do yet before we think we'll have it right.
Great. Yeah, I know the hotel is anxious for an elevator and more rooms, but everything in its time, I guess.
Everything
you
in
have
its
to
time.
wait.
Got to do a little bit at a time, Anton.
Well, Tim, thanks for talking with me and let me see what's going on here. I can't wait till the snow starts to fly.
Yeah, it's cold. It feels good. Thanks for coming out. We really appreciate you taking the time to come out and check us out.
From what I'm seeing, it looks like it could be a good snow year this year.
It's what the almanac says, so let's hope it's right.
You better have your snow moving and removal equipment as ready as your making equipment.
That's right. We are ready. We are ready.
Great. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.